Hi everyone, thanks for joining me once again on this Saturday morning for another round of stories with Thailand Bound. Right, I should say story actually, because this week there is just one story. The reason for that is it's one of the longest stories I've ever read out on this channel. Now the upload is about the same length, hence why it's only one story. The background video you're going to be looking at, I shot a couple of weeks ago on my Honda Click 160 when I rode over to my friend Simon's house, which is about 8 miles from where I live, in an area called Bangkok. I start off in Soi 11, Sukhumvit Soi 11. I head down to Ceylon, past Pat Pong. I eventually get to the Taksim Bridge, go over the river, then it's about 5 miles of highway. So I hope you're going to enjoy seeing a bit of the city. Right, let's jump into this week's one and only story. I hope you're going to enjoy this.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Last year, I visited Thailand for 2 weeks. This time, I stayed for 3 weeks, which still wasn't enough time. I honestly wish I could just live there, but I'm still relatively young at 35 years old. This story is mainly about me, but while in Thailand, I met a couple of new friends. My friend Jay will also come up a lot during this story, so it's kind of a dual story in a way. I started my journey by getting dropped off at the Orlando International Airport in Florida on October the 1st. While waiting for my second flight in Japan, I saw 2 guys walking over to the same Bangkok terminal I was going to. I wasn't sure if I was at the correct spot myself, so I asked them if they were headed to Bangkok like me. They were indeed, so I asked them if they wanted to hang out to kill some time. They both said yes, and our friendship began. These 2 guys were named J and M. Both of them were older than me, with J being 55 and M being 65. I get along with anyone regardless of age, so it was fine by me. While hanging out and waiting for our final flight, we all realised we had a lot in common. We were all going to Pattaya to do the same exact things, so we decided it would be a good idea to split a taxi 3 ways. Everyone, of course, already had their hotel rooms booked for the night, so we all decided to go take showers and meet back somewhere around their hotel. It was 2 a.m. at this point, but there were still a ton of places still open and lots of people still out and about partying and having fun. You would think that almost 2 days of travel that you would be ready for bed and a long night's rest, but that's not the case when you get to Pattaya. There's an energy that consumes you and electrifies all of your senses. When J, M and I met up at their hotel, the first thing we needed to do was to get some cash. Oddly enough, all of the money exchange places around us were closed. This definitely worried me until a motorbike taxi lady told us she knew where one would be open. I was a little skeptical with this being my first night here. J and M must have really trusted me because they each gave me $200 to exchange for them. I thought it was a little crazy of them to just give me their money like that after barely knowing me, but it also felt nice knowing they trusted me. I got the taxi with the lady by myself and we were off to get Thai baht. When I returned, we were finally ready to get the night started again. The closest place to go drinking was Walking Street. M has bad knees and takes a long time to get from point A to point B, so we couldn't travel too far. It was now around 3 a.m. as we walked towards our destination. Along the way, we saw a ladyboy standing there on the beach trying to find some company for the night. I immediately ran off to the side because I already knew she was going to grab me if I walked with J and M. Sure enough, she noticed me and wanted my attention. I just kept going and waited for J and M up the road. The ladyboys in Thailand can be aggressive and I didn't want to waste any time. It was already late. We walked down Walking Street, all the while getting grabbed at and getting catcalled by the girls. I absolutely love that feeling. I was also getting a lot more attention than my 2 new friends, which was nice too. Before M's knee gave out, we found a place that I don't remember the name of. We walked in, found a table. In those clubs there are plenty of freelancers. Shortly after walking in, a girl walked up to Jay and I felt something touch the back of my shoulder. I turned around to see a beautiful young girl of around 25 years old. She told me she saw me outside with her friend and had to follow me inside. I usually only go with girls that seek me out or try to grab me. It's definitely an ego boost for me because I actually like it when the girl finds me attractive and it isn't just looking for money. Of course, that's their main reason over everything else, but it feels better when they actually enjoy being with you. I'm not sure what was going on with M, but he didn't have a lady with him. We hung out and had lots of drinks between our new group of 5. It was probably now around 4 or 5 a.m, so we all decided it would be a good idea to go and get some food, and Korean barbecue seemed like a good idea. We arrived at the Korean barbecue place and sat down. I really wasn't that hungry due to all the nerves and adrenaline. I excused myself to the bathroom and threw up from drinking so much. I rarely drink when I'm back home in Florida. When I left the restroom, we all left. It was now around 6 a.m. and the sun was coming up. When we went back to the hotel, the aerobics were great and her body was perfect. Afterwards, we both fell asleep together. I slept like a baby. I woke up the next morning with a hangover but still ready for the next day and night. I grabbed my new friend's line number just in case I wanted to see her again. Then I sent her on her way. M didn't bring home a lady that night. He actually didn't hook up with any ladies at all the entire time he was there. Jay and I both came around the same time last time, so we had a little experience and knowledge as to how things worked here. There were 2 nights M actually brought back some company. He fell asleep before anything happened on one of the nights, and the other night I think the lady just didn't want to hook up. I really don't remember the details, but I remember Jay telling me about it and being upset. M, like I said, was 65 and had bad knees. We either had to walk really slow or stop every few minutes for him to catch back up with us. It could be a little frustrating at times, but I also felt sorry for him. That is another reason Jay wanted to hang out with me. M just couldn't keep up, and he also needed more downtime to himself just to relax, leaving Jay on his own. Jay and I both came solo on our first trips, and this was technically a solo trip for me as well. Sometimes it's a little better having the option of bringing a wingman. Jay may have been older than me, but when it comes down to Pattaya or Thailand in general, I definitely have a little more knowledge of how things work and how to operate. When Jay first came to Pattaya, he stayed at the same hotel he booked for his first trip. He prepared for about 5 nights. If I'm not mistaken, he told me he pretty much stayed at the same hotel and drank at the same bar and find the same lady every night. It's cool that he was able to build relationships with the staff and people there, but if they wanted other ladies, it would be a challenge getting his new girl past the girls at the bar under his hotel. He would definitely get caught and have to deal with that drama. And that's exactly what happened. Jay and M would drink with the girls from the bar under his hotel in the afternoons and the evenings. They also spent a decent chunk of bar on drinks when they were down at the bar too. The girls definitely wanted them to stay at their bar as long as possible, making a ton of bar on bar girl drinks. They never wanted Jay to leave, so he would use me as a scapegoat. I would tell the girls we were going to the mall or something, then we would go to another bar instead. I remember one time I went to pick him up and he was already drinking. Everyone pressured me into spending around 600 to 800 baht on a round of drinks, which honestly made me a little irritated. I didn't want to drink there at all, so I would only order cappuccinos. Jay ended up switching hotels after the 5 days he already paid in advance. That was a big relief for him, being able to get away from the girls at the bar under his hotel. I also remember M and Jay's hotel being one soi over from Boys Town. One of the ladies was asking me if I was gay because I wasn't giving any of the ladies my attention. I didn't find any of those girls remotely attractive. I was only there to pick up Jay. I ended up bringing a lady with me on one of Jay's last nights at that hotel just to prove I was straight. The girl I bought was an absolute stunner, which probably made them all understand why I wasn't giving anyone there any attention. One other unrelated thing that happened to Jay, I was getting my laundry washed every 5 days or so and paying around 200 baht. Like me, Jay stayed at a few different hotels in Pattaya. At his second hotel, he asked him to do his laundry, which was maybe 10 days worth of stuff. His bill came to 4,000 baht. He was shocked, but he did pay the 4,000 bill. That's something you might want to keep an eye on in the future. I'll just jump in very quickly here. When you take your laundry to any laundry in Thailand, it's normally done by the kilo. So in other words, they'll charge you for a kilo of laundry, or they'll itemize each garment that you're wearing. So it might be 20 baht for a shirt and 10 baht for a pair of underpants. And that's how you work out your cost. I think the guy was actually ripped off. Okay, on with the story. Maybe it's a new scam or something, but I always ask the price before I just give them my laundry. So now we get ready for night number 2. M stayed in, so Jay suggested we check out Soy 6. It was both our first time. I was not expecting how insane it was. We came at the perfect time when everything was in full swing. The number of girls available blew my mind. The number of bars also blew my mind. Every 2 feet I would get grabbed. At 2 different bars I was literally grabbed and picked up off my feet and dragged inside. I was reaching for Jay, he was no help at all. After being kidnapped the second time, we sat down and ordered a drink for ourselves. And the 2 ladies who sat with us, I wanted a prettier girl, so we left after the first drink. We spotted a bar we both agreed had some really good looking girls, and we walked in. 2 girls immediately sat down with us and we ordered some drinks. I drank the night before, so this time I was able to hold in all of my drinks. After quite a few, we bar-fined our girls and went our separate ways to our hotels. Another fun night of aerobics and mission accomplished. Jay stayed with his Soy 6 girl for the rest of the trip. I also liked having one main girl for the majority of my trip. I kept P with me for about 2 weeks. The only difference was she's 21 and he was like 55. He seems to think she really likes him even though he was paying a lot of money to be with her. Sometimes Jay's girl would buy food and drinks, but he was always paying a ton of money to be with her every night and paying her bar fine, which was very expensive. I believe he had to buy 10 drinks for her to leave the bar with him every night. He would also go up there and hang out at the bar and buy her drinks while she worked and then bar fine her later in the night. Jay and I only hung out while in Pattaya, but Jay also went to Bangkok towards the end of his trip. He stayed in Thailand around a week longer than me and got to Bangkok a day after I left. He ended up bringing his Soy 6 girl with him. He paid her bar for several days so she could go see her family. She was from Bangkok, not Isan like most Pattaya girls. I think they just stayed in their hotel room because she got sick. I think he wants to be with her when he moves to Thailand when he retires. That's one of the reasons J and M came to Thailand. I don't really trust Jay's Soy 6 girl, but for some reason he does. I was now ready for a good Thai massage. The first time I came to Thailand, I met a girl named A in a bar in Tree Town. Since I was at the wrong massage place, I decided I was going solo to find where A's old bar was. She was no longer working there, but for memory's sake, I wanted to try and find it just to see it again. Plus, along the way, if I see a massage shop with a pretty lady, I can stop and get my long-awaited massage. I walked around Tree Town but didn't recognise her bar, so I kept walking. I finally walked past a massage shop and heard a voice say, "Massage?" We all must hear that voice go off in our heads when we hear that word, massage. I turned and immediately liked what I saw. A beautiful Thai lady with a perfect body and perfect curves. She was a little older at around 45, but honestly, that's what I like. I decided on a full body massage with oil. I was very attracted to this lady and I wanted to see more of her. I also wanted to have full aerobics with her as well. After the massage, I got her line information and told her I wanted to see her after she got off work. She seemed eager to hang out. I later met her near my hotel. We went to a bar nearby. I was really enjoying her company. We were both very attracted to each other. We spent 2 weeks together. A few of the days we spent together, we went to 4 different temples. Along with the temples, I also went to an island with J, M, P and J's Soy 6 girl. After a short speedboat ride, you arrive at this beautiful beach. We took a golf cart to the other side where it was more secluded. We ordered a giant seafood spread and relaxed the entire time. After spending a week or more in Pattaya with my new massage lady, P and I knew I would be running out of money at a faster pace than I was expecting, so I hatched a plan. I did the maths on what she was charging me for her company and asked her if I could buy her a gold necklace on a card instead of giving her cash. I was honest with her about my finances and she agreed. I no longer needed to worry about running out of money, or did I? We didn't want to leave each other, so we decided it would be a good idea if she came with me to Bangkok. P was not a fan of Bangkok, but she just didn't want me to leave yet. Maybe because she knew I still had a lot of time left in Thailand and was worried about other girls. Other than visiting Chinatown, we went to a few malls. Bangkok is full of malls and places to shop. P really didn't want to do much other than shop, which was starting to worry me now. I let her know after a few days in Bangkok that I was going to have to send her back. I didn't want to, but it was something I was going to have to do as money was going down quickly. One of the things I may have messed up on while with P was going to get a massage while she went shopping. I was getting bored and I decided I would go and get a massage. The ladies at this shop were very aggressive about selling their extra services, to which I declined like a good boy. I see how it's stupid now, but I told P about what happened at the massage shop and she was very upset. She started crying, but eventually I calmed her down and showed her I still had almost the same amount of money as what I left with. Thai girls can be very possessive and jealous, and P brought it up on a few occasions. When it came time to leave Bangkok and head back to Pattaya, we still didn't want to leave each other. The time finally came when it was time for me to leave Pattaya and go back to Bangkok. I could have stayed forever and been happy. I know I'm not the most honest person and I lied to almost every girl in the story, but I'm on vacation and I'm not in a real relationship with any of these girls. I also made plans with another girl I met in Bangkok last year as well. Her name is P, and she is definitely in love with me, which is why I feel bad lying to her. She's a dental assistant in Bangkok. Definitely a regular girl and not a bar girl or a freelancer. I did catch her a long time ago being sneaky, so that's why I don't feel as bad lying to her. I was supposed to meet her on the 10th and spend several days with her. I was having too much fun with P though. This is another girl called P. They both happen to have the same name. So I came up with the dumbest lie possible, which she seemed to have believed. I told her originally I was travelling with a friend and that we were going to visit Vietnam and other places together before I met up with her on the 10th. I didn't have a friend with me other than my new friends from the flight. I ended up telling her my friend got arrested for fighting and I had to wait for his family to send money so I could pay off the police and get him out of jail. Stupid, I know, but what else could I say? She was a little upset, but we planned on meeting up my last week and spending a few nights together. The first day we spent together, we went to the Jack weekend market. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend checking it out. There's a section of the market with lots of exotic animals, and the sidewalk is lined up with pre-bagged pet fish for purchase. They also have meerkats, groundhogs, prairie dogs, monkeys, raccoons, weasels, turtles, dogs, cats, and the list goes on and on. It's unbelievable. This place was incredible. It was also much easier to get footage with my camera with P. P and I also went and visited the Wat Arun temple on the big river in Bangkok. It was a truly beautiful sight to see. There's a boat service where you can pay 150 baht for an all-day pass. We used this service to check out a few different locations along the river. Later that night, we decided it would be fun to meet with her friend and her friend's boyfriend. I was the only one who actually spoke English. We went to a local market with no other Farangs in sight, which I actually prefer. It feels way cooler being the only Farang in my opinion. We drank all night and I had a ton of fun meeting her friends. I felt like a real Thai person and even danced a little to the local music. Another night I spent with P, we went to a night market that she took me to on my first trip. We stopped and talked to her niece that runs one of the food stalls there. We also had a bit of a slap-up meal. I met her niece the last time, so it was nice saying hi again. After some walking around, we sat down at a bar within the market and had some drinks while we listened to some live music. Another fun night. P and I also had plenty of aerobics every night we spent together. I only spent a few days with P before she had to take a trip out of town for work. She had to work a couple of days when we were together as well, so there's not a whole lot that happened while I was with her. She did take me to her office and I met another lady she worked with. When I woke up on my final day, P and I said our goodbyes and she left for her work trip. I realised I barely had a day left and I had to leave basically that night at 3 a.m. to catch my flight at 7 a.m. They say to be 3 hours early for international flights. I booked a hotel close to Nana Plaza and left my hotel. I spent the day walking around browsing the shops up and down Sukhumvit. I also installed Tinder on my mobile because I was down to my last 1,500 baht. And I wanted to see if I could try my luck with a normal Thai lady and only pay for food and drinks. After lunch, I was down to 1,200 baht. I had a lot of success on Tinder. I really wish I would have gotten on dating apps sooner because some of the ladies were so beautiful, but they weren't available for my short window of time before I was leaving. I had a lot of interest in offers, but the way one girl in particular was speaking to me was intriguing. She was young and pretty and ready to have fun all night with me. We agreed to meet up at around 8 and go grab a drink. She would take the BTS over to the station by my hotel, right next to Nana Plaza. 8 o'clock came, and as I waited, I saw her walk right past me on the street. I knew right then that I had made a mistake. She was not as pretty as her pictures made her out to be. She must have put younger pictures up, not nearly as beautiful. I should have just gone home, but I got her attention and she suggested a local bar her friend worked at. She also wanted to show me Nana Plaza, which I told her previously I had never been to. One of the nights I was with P in Bangkok, we went to Nana Plaza to check it out. I told all the Tinder girls I was at my hotel alone because all of my friends were out looking for girls at bars. I told them I didn't really like going with bar girls and freelancers and that I only like normal girls. That was an obvious lie if you have been listening to this story. So back to the Tinder girl. After she showed me around Nana Plaza, we went to her friend's bar and ordered a drink. I was not attracted to this girl I was with at all, and I think it was hard having a conversation with her because of this. Her friend, on the other hand, was very pretty, but I wasn't going to embarrass her and make her lose face. I'm not a jerk like that. This did make me feel very self-conscious though. I saw other Farang at the bar with way more beautiful girls, and this made me feel kind of fed up. I know that might sound weird or stupid to some of you, but for me, I was just embarrassed to be with this girl. I also felt like the other bar girls were judging me too. I needed to hatch a plan. I needed to escape from this situation I put myself in. I could not text anyone to save me, but as soon as my Tinder girl's friend came back to ask us if we wanted another drink, she looked at me funny and asked me if I was okay. She said, "I looked a little drunk already." This immediately gave me an idea for a plan to get the hell out of there. I told the Tinder girl my friend is staying at the hotel next to mine and he smokes. I told them I tried smoking for the first time today and that's why I might be acting weird. After we finished our first and only drinks, we left and started walking to another bar. I immediately made a fake phone call to my friend saying I felt bad and I needed to meet up with him. I ended up telling her I was having an anxiety or panic attack from smoking and I would have to excuse myself for the night. I gave her 200 baht because she paid for our drinks at the first bar. She looked confused and a little irritated with me, but I told her maybe we could meet up tomorrow night. If I was free, of course, that is. The only problem now was it's getting late. It was probably around 9 p.m. I also wanted to try and get an hour or two of sleep before I left. I went back to my room and got back on Tinder. I wasn't having as much luck now in my even shorter window of time. At least not with the caliber of girls I was looking for. I decided to hit the street. Sukhumvit at night is a crazy place to walk around. It's packed with people, lots of shops, it's loud and noisy. It definitely gets the adrenaline pumping again. I walked up and down Sukhumvit looking at all the beautiful ladies standing outside looking for new friendships. After giving the Tinder girl 200 baht, I only had 1,000 baht left, so I wasn't sure what I was going to do. It was around 10 or 11 p.m. at this time and time was running out quickly. I wanted one last memory with a beautiful lady. At one point during my walk, a big ladyboy grabbed my hand and shouted over to her fellow ladyboys something in Thai. I was wearing my gold chains, which I knew is stupid. I then felt a second ladyboy's hand moving towards the back of my neck. I swatted him away and ripped my hand away from the first ladyboy. They can be strong when they have a tight grip on you. They yelled, "Sorry, sorry, sorry." I moved away from them quickly. I still had a mission to accomplish with very little time or money. As I walked, I was waiting for a girl I liked to grab my hand and to try and sell me her services. There is a lot of variety of ladies waiting for a date around this area. It seemed like ladies from all over the world were there. I was getting stopped by plenty of ladies, but I wanted something special. The first one that I liked stopped me and asked me what I was doing. I told her, "You don't want me, I'm broke, I've only got 1,000 baht left until tomorrow." She didn't believe me and she told me to prove it. I emptied my pockets and I showed her I truly only had a 1,000 baht note. She asked me where my hotel was and then agreed to the 1,000 baht. I wasn't sure it would actually work, but it did. If she agreed to 1,000 baht, I wonder how many other ladies would accept such a low amount. I told her to give me a minute, I needed to go and call a friend and I'll be back. I wanted to try my luck again. Soon, after I started walking again, I was pulled to the side by another pretty girl. I told her the same thing I told the last girl, and she also agreed. I honestly could not believe it. Could I have been getting girls at this rate the whole time? I don't know if being such a cheap Charlie is a good thing or a bad thing in this aspect, but it was definitely eye-opening. I'm not sure I'll ask for that price on my next trip, but it's definitely good to know. After talking to girl number 2 and her agreeing to the 1,000 baht, I wanted to try my luck one last time to see if I could find a girl even prettier than the first two. That is when I ran into Moon. Moon was a beautiful Vietnamese girl who was supposedly just arrived in Bangkok 2 weeks ago. She had a perfect body and a beautiful face. I don't think I've been with a Vietnamese girl before either. I was walking past her when she grabbed my hand. I told her the same exact thing as the first two girls. As soon as I told her the deal, she told me to speak quietly and she also told me not to let the other girls hear me. She agreed to the price and asked me where my hotel was. It was a good 10 to 15 minute walk, which wasn't something she was interested in. She told me my hotel was too far and we can just go back to her room. I was hesitant at first, but she said it was right behind us. Red flags immediately started going up. These are the types of mistakes people make in movies before they get robbed. I agreed anyway and we started walking. Her room was a back alley. It was definitely a place where I could see myself getting robbed or even worse. I was running out of time and I've done crazier things in the pursuit of women in the past. We walked inside the building and got into the elevator. The elevator literally had a little hole in the floor and the numbers barely worked. She pressed the 8th and 9th floor buttons inside the elevator and told me sometimes the elevator doesn't stop, so we might have to walk down from the 9th floor. After a couple of minutes in her room and some small talk, we got into the aerobics. After we were finished, she told me I could shower and pointed me to her bathroom. There was a bucket full of water and a cup in her bathroom. I was a little confused as to how I was supposed to shower, so she came over and cleaned me. After I was cleaned, she told me to come lay down and relax. I didn't have much time, but I laid down and we talked for a bit. I wasn't ready to leave, but I had to. We said our goodbyes, she gave me her WhatsApp, and I was on my way back to my hotel. Every time I have aerobics, I can't help but smile, so I was smiling the whole walk back to my hotel. It was a mission accomplished and a job well done at that. When I got back, it was sometime between 12 and 1 a.m. I told the front desk guy to give me a wake-up call at 2:30 a.m. so I could take a quick nap. He thought it was hilarious and it made me laugh as well. This whole situation was kind of funny. I went up to my room where I had everything ready and packed, so I laid down. I blinked and heard the phone ring. It was 2:30 a.m. already. I was dreading this moment. I didn't want to leave. Whoever does? I went downstairs with all of my stuff and shortly after got into my taxi. Just in case you're wondering how I paid for the taxi, I prepaid it when I booked it earlier. I was headed to the airport to go home. This is always the worst part of the trip. You know the fun is over with and you're going back to work and your regular life. I wasn't excited at all. After a 30-minute ride, we arrived at the airport. I got through security and everything else went very fast. I was hours early, but of course that's always better than being late. 7 a.m. came and I boarded the aircraft. I had a long journey back home. I spent a lot of money and I went over my budget, but it was worth every penny. I would do it again and again, over and over. I still talk and keep in touch with everyone in this story too. Thank you, Thailand, for giving me the best 3 weeks of my life and previously the best 2 weeks of my life for a total of 5 weeks. When you are in Thailand, it feels like you're living a separate life. Nothing else matters when you're here. It feels like you're on a completely different planet. I love Thailand and I can't wait to get back again. Thank you, Peter, for reading my long story. I hope it was entertaining for you and it was for me as it was for me writing it. It took me a few days and a lot of editing. So that was, I would say, the longest story I've ever read out on this channel. It was actually 3 pages longer. It would have been a real long upload. So I asked him to edit it and he said he would, but he didn't come back to me. That was about a month and a half ago. But I decided it was such a nice story. I decided to edit it myself and I got it down from 13 pages to 10 pages. Okay, guys, that's it once again from me. And that was the first time this story's ever been read out on my channel. As always, if you have a story, please send it in to me. I'll change your names. I'll make it anonymous. And you too can hear your story read out right here on Thailand Bound. Guys, thanks for listening and I'll be back with some more stories next Saturday.